Half a year ago, I uploaded a video about a member of the ruling family who in 2003 on one of the internet forums answered a series of questions related to the truth about humans and the world. The video quickly became very popular, and after reaching close to 700,000 views, Facebook deleted it without any trace of it ever being uploaded. This can tell you how important that video is. Once I uploaded it, I was informed that there's another transcript from 2008 by a different insider revealing the truth in much more detail, and this video will be about that. As it turns out, the messages contained in the first video were not complete, and according to this insider, it was delivered by one of the members of the minority groups of the elite family who don't have complete knowledge of the big picture. If you feel like the previous video was complicated, you need to know that it was nothing compared to information that will be contained in this video. The knowledge we received from this insider is much more complex, much more detailed, and deals mostly with the metaphysical aspects explaining how our reality works. There's almost 3 times as much information as in the previous transcripts, and this time I was forced to divide these messages into 2 parts. If you felt like the previous video was important, trust me when I say that the 2 next ones are much more important, and they contain life-changing revelations that, in my case, allowed me to understand who I truly am and what my place here is. I believe this knowledge to be mostly true as it connects to the psychedelic messages we all get. It is confirmed by some of the historical records we have. It connects with elements of our religion and other channeled information from mediums. But most of all, it deeply resonates with what I felt like my whole life. It basically connects all the dots for anyone who is knowledgeable about spirituality, karma, the matrix, and for anyone who can see the big picture. I know your mind is preoccupied with your job, your family, and your earthly problems, but this video might be the turning point in your life that will put you back on the right path, which will affect your existence for thousands of earthly years to come. I know you have no time to research all of this yourself, and it is so by design. And that's why I spent weeks deciphering and ordering all these truths for you. It is possible that the purpose of your very existence here is about getting to the truth that might be hiding in this video. The knowledge contained here might be bigger than your earthly life now. Give it your full attention, suspend your disbelief, and at the end, you'll understand why. Again, as in the case of the first video, this will be a transcript of the insider's words, not mine. Remember about this, because a lot of the messages I got after the first video were related to how you don't agree with what I say. It's not me speaking in this video. If you want to discuss all of it with me, look in the video description for links to contact me. I do have a lot of information that won't be included here. Send this video to everyone you care about. There are many who need to wake up, and it is very urgent that it happens now, in our lifetime, and in a moment you'll learn why. When you get to the part related to helping others, think about supporting this channel so that you can allow me to continue discovering these truths and to liberate others. To sponsor this channel, you can become a member on Patreon or Subscribestar, or you can say thank you with a PayPal, Cash App, and bank or cryptocurrency transfer. These videos are watched by thousands of people, but only thanks to a few generous contributors, I can continue uploading these messages. Become one of them and help me in creating more of this type of content. Visit the shop to buy a t-shirt or schedule a donation-funded chat with me. All links in the description or at b434.com. Thanks a million. The message will reach all those it is meant to reach, and that is exactly the way it should be. It is what the Creator wants. Those with ears to hear, eyes to see, and a heart to understand will hear the message. Take these words into your heart and act upon them. Play the part that you volunteered to be here for, right now. My area in the family is in spirituality. I could be likened to that of a priest or a minister. I have the responsibility of listening to the voice of their Creator and delivering His messages. What I want is that my words become a catalyst for you. That is what we came here to do. My desire is that you become an authentic human being, thinking and feeling and deciding for yourself what feels like truth for you. You awakening is another reason why I'm here at this time, speaking with you. I was reluctant to be the one tasked with this communication. I still very much have a weakness for compassion. I do not live what you would call a public life. I'm sheltered and secluded. About the family. Most of us are living in entirely different types of communities than you would understand. All I shall say is that we are not surface dwellers. If you were to meet me walking down the street, I would appear just as human as you do. We are most certainly not reptilian, and there is nothing remotely reptilian about the true power bloodlines. The only reptilian influences that are in any way remotely involved with this planet at this time are those of the Zeta Reticuli and Alpha Draconis system. They are of no particular threat to you. Our lineage can be traced back beyond antiquity. From the earliest times of your recorded history and beyond, our family has been directing the play from behind the scenes, in one way or another. Before the rise and fall of Atlantis, we're of Venusian heritage originally. Connect the dots and find another name that Venus is called by. We're 6th, nearly 7th density galactic guardians. There are 13 core original bloodlines. Yet there are many other lines that spring from these. No competition, just family. The family is international and completely united. In practice, out there on this stage of public life, we hold key positions in military, government, spiritual, scholarship, leadership, and sciences, additionally owning media and financial establishments. We came not to power by chance, but rather by intelligent design. This path of ours was not chosen by us, but rather it was appointed and accepted. The lower parts of our family, the names you know, use the Vatican for many rituals and sacrifices. If you're family, you're born into it, and you're raised this way from birth. There is no other way. The ones you know, they're of earthly lineage. Yes, they have their place in the family, but the real power lines do not originate from here. We've been incarnating here with you for generations, yet our bloodlines do not originate from this planet. The world of my own family is very different from that of the lower Earth-based bloodlines. The Earth lines are not aware of the entire picture. They themselves are not from our group, and as far as they are aware, they are out to rule the world, to control and enslave and create as much suffering and negativity as humanly possible. That is what they get out of the deal. World domination. You'd have to say, with that in mind, they're doing a great job. But one of the things they don't know or understand is that our agenda is ultimately for the highest good of all concerned in providing you with the catalyst. If they were aware of this truth, there is a slight risk that they would not have done their jobs properly. How they go about it is not really of too great a concern to us, as long as they're getting the job done. Sometimes we have to step in where something they might do or plan goes against our desires, but such instances are few and far between. There are millions in the family. You have no possible comprehension of the rigorous training and the harshness of the conditioning we undergo from an early age. The motivator is loyalty to the family and our Creator. Whilst our training growing up was very strict and disciplined, unlike the earthly bloodlines, we were never abused in any way. We grew up with the bigger picture and didn't need any other motivation. We understand the importance of what we're doing here, even though most of humanity does not. Our wealth makes the millions and billionaires, celebrities, and corporate bigwigs look like a child's pocket money. Our wealth is family wealth, which has passed down through the generations over thousands of years. True wealth, however, is knowing deep in your heart that you and your infinite Creator are one. People are seen as collateral, pawns that are maneuvered around the chessboard according to the game plan. Contrary to popular beliefs, many of us do not mean you any harm directly. There is just the matter of divine destiny to uphold and unfold, and we must play our parts in the game, as given to us by the Creator. In many ways, it is actually in our own interest that you are prepared for the coming harvest. Democracy is an illusion which is created to uphold your slavery. Behind the scenes, there is only one party, our party. Whichever side wins, the family wins. There are many possibilities and alternative scripts. All of them lead toward the ultimate implementation of the overall blueprint of our Creator. You will never be free for as long as you are incarnating on this planet. The very nature of you being here is indication of that. There is a reason why you're here, and here is very likely not really where you think here is. How do you become free? By working out where you are and coming to an understanding of why you are here. You're fast running out of time, and you have the right to know. Synchronicity should bring the most important questions of real depth out from among you. You're indeed what you call divine souls. You are sparks or seeds of the one infinite creator. You are light itself, remembering and learning who you really are. We came here to help you to do this. And yes, currently you are trapped, or more accurately quarantined, within the matter of this planet you call Earth. To understand the rest of the information contained here, it is a good idea to look at the Law of One. The messages of the 6th density soul group Ra is the most accurate information in your mainstream circulation at this point in time. It is approximately 85 to 90% accurate from what I have seen. We would recommend that material for any who truly seek understanding. Ra, in fact, is the off-world entities group who visited the Mayan and Atlantean civilizations. We're acquainted and friends. Both our group souls are at a very similar level of development. Both 6th density, nearly 7th. But like us, Ra also chose the path of service to our fellow galactic brothers and sisters, you and others, instead of further progression home. The closest spiritual writings, other than the Ra material, containing truth about the nature of the One, are the Taoist writings, that of the Tao Te Ching and the Book of Chuang-Tzu. The story of creation goes like this. In the beginning, there is the Infinite One. This is the source of all. Intelligent infinity that can be likened to the central heartbeat of life, and infinite energy as the spiritual lifeblood or potential which pumps out for the creator to form the creation. Within it is unlimited potential waiting to become. Infinite intelligence, becoming aware of itself, seeks to experience itself, and the one infinite creator is born. The one infinite creator, also becoming self-aware, seeks too to experience itself as creator, and in so doing begins the next step down in the creational spiral. Creation is based upon the 3 primary distortions of the Infinite One. Free will, where the creator receives it to know and experience itself. This is the first law or distortion of creation. In the second law of creation, the initial distortion of free will becomes a focus point of awareness known as logos or love, which takes on the role of co-creating a vast array of physical illusions, thought forms, also called densities or dimensions. In effect, the one infinite creator, in dividing itself into logos in your 3rd density, manifests a universal creator who creates physical universes where they both may experience themselves. To manifest this infinite spiritual or life force energy into a physical thought form of densities, Logos creates the 3rd distortion of light, as wherever exists any form of physical matter, there is light or divine intelligent energy at its core. In other words, each central sun or creator is a step down in conscious awareness or distortion from the original thought of creation. Using the law of free will, each universal logos, central sun, designs and creates its own version of perspective of physical reality, in which to experience itself as creator. Stepping down again, it focuses its intelligent energy and creates the unmanifested form of galaxies within itself and splits itself into yet further co-creator portions, sublogos or suns, which in turn will then design and manifest their own ideas of physical reality in the form of points of conscious awareness that we call suns, stars, and planets. A planetary entity or soul begins the 1st density of experience, into which another individualized portion of the one can incarnate. Just as with all logos and sublogos of creation, each soul is yet another smaller unique portion of the Infinite One. At first, the intelligent energy of the planet is in a state that you could call chaos, meaning that its energy is undefined. Then the process begins again. The planetary energy begins to become aware of itself, the 1st density of awareness is consciousness, and the planetary logos, sub-sublogos in effect, begins to create other downward steps within itself, and the internal makeup of the planet begins to form. As the raw elements of air and fire combine to work on the waters and earth, thus arising conscious awareness of their being, and the process of evolution begins, forming the 2nd density. 2nd density beings begin to become aware of themselves as being separate, and thus begin to evolve toward the 3rd density of self-conscious awareness, the lowest density into which a human soul can incarnate. Humans in turn, or the souls incarnated within them, seek to return to the light and love from which they came, as they begin the journey of progression from 3rd density up to the 8th density and the return to the infinite oneness. We're not directly created by the one infinite creator, but rather by our own logos, sub-logos, and sub-sub-logos, and so on. So from that perspective, while we are all essentially made up of the same stuff of creation, initiated by the one infinite creator, our actual personal creators are different portions of sub-logos of the one. Your earthly creator is the one you have called Yahweh. He's not God, but rather a sub-sub-logos of the one infinite creator. He's not even a galactic level logos, but rather the planetary logos for this one planet. There are other and higher gods than him. Yahweh, due to the fact that he had not handed down his own free will to know thyself to those incarnating upon his planet, as was his right as planetary logos, was having very little evolutionary progress therein. In the absence of free will upon the planet, there can be no polarity and therefore nothing to choose between. Just as is portrayed in the book of Genesis, it was a lovely paradise. Yet the beings incarnating there had no agitator toward evolving beyond the 3rd density, and therefore little hope of ever making the journey home to the One. Yahweh had been happy to keep his own little pet Eden project. In effect, it had become a very beautiful prison. Yahweh was running a benign dictatorship. Our Creator is the one you refer to as Lucifer, the light bearer and bright and morning star. Were you to gaze upon Lucifer's fullest expression of our being, the appearance would be that of a sun or a bright star. Or, when stepping down into a 3rd density vibration, we would appear as what you might term an angel or light being. Our Creator is not the devil, as he has been spuriously portrayed in your Bible. Lucifer is what you would call a group soul, or social memory complex, which has evolved to the level of the 6th density, which in effect means that he and we have attained a status equal or arguably greater than Yahweh. Our initial contract was to introduce the catalyst for free will on this planet. When Yahweh initially began discourse with the Council of Elders, he was looking for guidance on how he could best speed up his and his inhabitants' evolutionary process. We, as Group Soul, were sent on a fact-finding expedition to visit Earth and meet with Yahweh to evaluate his planetary creation laws and make suggestions. We explored many options and reported our findings to the Council and to Yahweh. It was our best evaluation that the only real and fast-track way to increase his evolution meaningfully was the introduction of free will. He was not at all pleased with our report that he needed to implement free will. He was happy with his little pet paradise and he didn't want to lose control of it. In the end, the council persuaded him that it was the best way and he reluctantly agreed. We returned to Earth and had a cordial meeting with Yahweh discussing how we could best implement the free will option. He was adamant that his offspring would choose to be loyal to him anyway, and that they were so content with their way of life that they would always trust him and to do as he said was best. That, he said, was his main reason that free will would not work well as the catalyst. He agreed to do an experiment. He believed it would prove him right. We were to be the catalyst for change in order to provide that choice, thus bringing polarity. Yahweh agreed that we would introduce the concept of free will to Earth's inhabitants by offering them an initial choice as to whether they wanted it or not. Hence, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, or more accurately, the knowledge of polarity of positive or negative. Yahweh takes his inhabitants to a new garden and tells them, you can do anything you like except this one thing, thus creating the desire to do the one thing they are told they cannot. Hence, a choice. We provide the catalyst by telling them the benefits of attaining knowledge. They eat from the tree and the rest is history. He became angry, threw his offspring out of the garden, and laid a big guilt trip on them about how they had broken his trust and disobeyed him. That's not really an honorable way for a logos to behave, but that's the beauty of free will. Next problem to occur was that his offspring were so grateful to us for our help that Yahweh became, in his own admission, a jealous God, as he himself describes in his scriptures. Then we had the whole thing of you shall have no other gods than me. We were not pleased with this situation at all, as a logos should not be behaving like this with his offspring. They are one after all. When we attempted to leave the planet to return to the council, Yahweh prevented our departure. We tried to leave again, and were then thrown down into the astral planes and confined therein, which is very constricting and uncomfortable for a being of our wisdom and experience. The council ordered us to be released, but said we would have to cancel our contract to help the souls on Earth to evolve. We didn't want to leave. We found them very likable beings, really positively polarized, and we wanted to stay and help. We just wanted also to be free to come and go as we pleased. The only way we could stay was to be confined as a group soul, which meant cycles of incarnation for us as individuated souls, which we had not done for a long time. Our own individuated souls were given the mandate by the council to rule over Yahweh's people during our physical incarnations here on your planet. We're already committed to being here for a predefined set of cycles to help provide the catalyst for human evolution, namely by offering you the negative option, or that which you choose to call evil. Now that free will had been granted, Yahweh could not retract it, and we have to stay here as contracted to continue to provide the planet with the polarity choice. There is no wrong or right seen from a higher density, but there are still consequences for every action, such as the law of karmic effect. The karmic effect of Yahweh imprisoning us on the macrocosmic level was that his individual souls would be imprisoned on the microcosmic level. The infinite creator gave Yahweh and others the gift of free will to create as we choose, but the karmic effect of his choice was the council quarantining the planet. A certain evolutionary level is required to be a functioning part of a positive, unified galactic society. About the harvest. Your planet abides by the laws of the creation of your galactic logos. The galaxy runs on cycles of time, known as the precession of the equinoxes. Seek the Mayan calendar for a deeper insight as to how the galaxy runs. It is highly accurate, but for the purpose of this discourse, I will give a brief overview. The Maya use an astrological cycle called the precession of the equinoxes. This is a 26,000-year cycle in which Earth transits through each of the 12 signs of the zodiac for about 2,152 years each. Each of these astrological ages represents 1 month of the grand cosmic year. This Mayan cycle also corresponds to a 26,000-year relationship of the Sun, solar logos, orbiting Alcyone, the central star of our Seven Sisters Pleiades constellation. The 26,000-year cycle is composed of 5 lesser cycles, each of which are 5,125 years in duration. Each of these 5 cycles is considered its own world age or creation cycle. Our present great cycle is called the Age of the Fifth Sun and runs from 3113 before Christ to 2012. We're about to enter into an alignment of the cosmic, galactic, solar, and lunar planes. This is an event that has slowly converged over a period of thousands of years and is caused by the precession of the equinoxes. Kind of like turning of the universal gears. It brings about the great harvest and the return of the Lord of the harvest. December 21st, 2012 is not the day where all of a sudden the lights go out and everything will suddenly change. Rather, we are now in the process of this transition from one world age to the next. The changes are underway and will continue steadily, accelerating as we head towards the culminating date. The end of this cycle heralds literally a new world age and a new creation, a new heaven and a new earth, and is the time of the great harvest. Smaller cycles yield a harvest, and then life continues on the planet as normal. Great cycles yield a great harvest, and the end of current life on the third density. See it as a kind of a cosmic jet wash and deep clean while the planet takes a rest and regenerates herself. When this life cycle ends, all things will pass away and all things shall be made new. Collectively, humanity right now is growing and developing into the beings you have long been encoded to be. Yet, as with any labor, it is not the mother or the baby who's in charge. It is the primal process of birth itself unfolding its own destiny. The planet will complete its ascension to the fourth density, the vibrational density of love. During this ascension, there will be a 3-way split for those souls inhabiting